Virgo, hello. It's been a while. It's nice to talk with you. So today we're going to look at your shapeshift, the shape you're shifting out of, the shape you're shifting into, and what that shapeshift looks and feels like for this time that you are finding this reading. So we're going to start off by pulling an image, some sort of image that is going to help inspire this shapeshift for you at this time. So many people are getting this. And I really do shuffle the crap out of these cards. I mean, this is a great thing to get. I think Taurus and Gemini both have gotten this. So there's something here about breaking out into laughter. I think when Taurus first got this card in this cycle, maybe that reading will end up being useful for you. We'll see. But it was really talking about this moment of emotional release from something super stressful or from stressful moments. This energy of just like suddenly breaking out into laughter, maybe specifically with those you love, because we're seeing this friendship here. That's free to follow in the rest of this picture. Interesting. Anything else? Any other image for Virgo? Well, the image that just flashed is the I mean, check it out. Virgo, calm down, you know? I can say that. I'm heavy Virgo placements here. But I'm laughing because this feels like you a little bit. Or a really strong, I mean, these are both you, obviously, you know, this is your reading. So both of these are iterations of you, but there's this version of you that's looking over at this version of you like, how can you be laughing right now? How can you let yourself experience joy and pleasure and release when there is so much to be so serious about? That's kind of the vibe that I'm getting. Or almost like, you know, I was going to mention to you earlier that this deck of images is actually a memory game, which is why the photographs are split in half. We're only seeing one half because we have to see the other half. And so there might be something here about remembering a much more lush time. You know, it sort of feels like now that we're deep into the pandemic, this notion of the before times when it was so much easier to laugh or so much easier to feel this way because everything was in some ways lighter for some of us. And now things are stripped down. It is different. It is more intense. Okay, Virgo, sheesh. Let's get into your cards a little bit here. I'm using the Poesis Oracle to determine your shapeshift. So specifically, we're looking at the shape you're shifting out of, the one you're shifting into, and then what that looks like. So what's the shapeshift for Virgo? Yeah, this card was coming out in your pre-shuffle so much. Express. And again, we're seeing a very sort of lush, floral expression between two people. Gorgeous. Celebrate. This card's been coming out a lot for folks as well. And then the other card you got is Heal. I'm going to take this as your shapeshift. So I think, what do I think? Give me a moment. Oh my gosh. This is interesting. I'm just trying to figure out which way around. What's the sequence of events here? I think it is more traditional, but your shapeshift looks like this. You are healing Okay, shifting out of this time of maybe dormancy in healing, because I'm seeing there's this stark contrast present in the cards between like lying back and surrendering to this cleansing period and everyone's eyes are closed. And then here there's this sudden burst of expression, and this card says celebration, togetherness, full body expression too, which is interesting. Okay, from maybe this time of healing and cleansing and a little bit of dormancy and somehow like clearing the space, because I'm noticing that this is a smudging process. So maybe like there's something here about just clearing out something. And then maybe that healing experience paves the way for like a sudden wake up of your energy. And the shift into a time of togetherness and celebration feels like almost a return, because I kept looking at this card for you and talking about the before times. And so it could really be that there's this sense of returning to a much lighter version of yourself. Which maybe if I'm talking to you as this version of yourself right now, maybe you're looking at that like, what? You know, like maybe you're giving a little side eye to this shapeshift right now, going like, I don't see how that could possibly happen given my circumstances, or given everything still going on. But you know what, Virgo, there's something here about letting yourself fully express that seems to be the catalyst for this pretty stark shift and for this healing process. It's like you have to heal your form of expression, or you have to heal your ability to freely express yourself. And I want to stress that it's not just vocally, it's also like expressing from your gut, expressing with your whole body, because we're getting so much, even like sexual expression, because we're seeing all of that present in this card. I just see this as like whole body. Healing the head. So that your full body can experience joy and celebration again. Which is really a question of like, why else are we here? Again, that Taurus reading might be super helpful. Maybe the Gemini reading to some extent, but there really is this question of like, why are we here? If it's, oh, this is funny. Now I'm looking down at this photograph, and there's almost this, at first I was seeing it as like such strong side eye. But now actually, if we can zoom in a little bit on that, I'm sort of seeing it as like a person breaking into a little bit of a smile. Do you see what I see? Like there's this tentative, almost tempting, suddenly when we're looking at this, there's almost this like, really? You know, like suspicious joy. Like looking at it and being like, that looks nice. That seems nice. Like, is that real? Oh, Virgo. Almost like the parting the lips in this card. Just like, you know, that's the first step to this expression, is just relaxing the jaw enough, rather than, it's the next step is, do you see the difference? Like, there's just this little separation of the lips that comes from a slight relaxation of the jaw that just like softens the energy a little bit and opens up a possibility that wasn't previously there. And then that somehow leads to just this absolute explosion of joy and celebration, expression. You know, in the Taurus reading, I think it was, I described this moment as just like absolute raucous laughter that takes over your entire being. You know, the kind of laughter or the kind of crying, although in this reading I'm really seeing the laughter that just leaves you breathless, panting, exhausted, can barely catch your breath. You can't even speak. At some point you're like just shaking and laughing silently. You are laughing so hard. It's this just whole body takeover of joy and joyful expression. I mean, Virgo, come on. This reading's incredible. I can't wait to dive in now using the tarot. We're going to use the Dark Exact and start to get specific with this energy and see what this healing has been for you and how the form of expression might lead to this, to something worth celebrating, and maybe even like lead to a sense of connection and togetherness with people you love and community. Okay. If you've enjoyed the first part of this reading, I invite you to explore the whole thing with me for a season over at the Shifting Space. This spring, 2022, I'm testing out this new space devoted to experiencing the shifts more viscerally in connection with other people for the course of an entire season. I'm inviting no more than 30 folks to join this cohort of original founding members of the Shifting Space. This is a chance for me and you to shape the kind of virtual space we want to be a part of for months and years to come. We'll experiment with bi-monthly movement meetups to feel how our bodies are shifting, a community chat space where we can dish on the shifts, and a podcast where we'll connect the dots of all the revelations we're having throughout the season. If this sounds like what you're into, join me at this early stage of the Shifting Space. It'll never be more affordable than it is right now. And as a reward for your input at these early days of the space, you'll keep your original member rate for life. So, come see what it's all about and watch the rest of your reading at unseenhandstarot.com.